Hello, welcome back to the returning viewers and a warm welcome to any new viewers that are finding this video. This channel is all about self-development using my branding of be heard, be brave and be free, because that is what I personally want to achieve and that is what my clients are aspiring for as well. So using my life story and my personal experiences, using the tools and the techniques that I'm advocating and new ones that I'm actually learning, because this self-development journey is an ongoing one. So if you want to stick around and find out what worked for me last week, the lessons that I've learned, what I'm planning on doing this week, Monday is all about self-reflection. And maybe this is something that you can start incorporating in your daily practice, whether you do it daily or whether you do it weekly. And maybe some of the tools and the techniques in my kind of thought process might actually help guide you on your way. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Tanya. I'm 52 years old and I live on the east coast of Scotland. My background had originally been within finance and the financial services sector as a qualified accountant, but I've decided in the past year to pivot my career by doing some self-healing because I really needed to do the work myself, and therefore now I've got the tools and the techniques and the kind of will and want and aspiration to help as many people as I possibly can. So this YouTube channel is about supporting my online coaching and therapy business, and I've got the details for my website in the description below. So what happened last week? I actually managed to do a little bit more reading than what I was originally intending to, which just proves the whole notion of you don't need to be motivated to actually see progress happening. So it's about taking action. So I had given advice to one of my clients that in order to sort of avoid being stuck in your head and thinking and overthinking and analysing and then not taking any action, is about sort of like time boxing some activity. So I had sort of given myself that I was planning on doing 2 pages of a book, and I've got 3 books that I'm reading concurrently because they're sort of covering different aspects, and you need some time in between reading one of the books to process the thoughts, the feelings that are surfacing as a result. So I decided that I was going to do that action of reading 2 pages per day, and I found very, very quickly that the 2 pages ended up being, oh, I'll read a chapter. And I managed to make some good progress on one of the books because I decided to focus my attention more on one. And then I decided at coming to the tail end of the week that I would start sort of like delving into another book because I was making really good progress on one of them, but it was time to now start sort of unpeeling the layers in another one. And that is all about looking at the kind of codependency patterns that I have had, the people pleasing, the overgiving. And what it also sort of linked to is doing some inner child work. Now, I will cover on the Wednesday video a little bit more about that whole process of inner child work and the codependency, because I really think there's probably some really good benefits sharing my kind of experience and what I've actually been doing to help you and maybe some work that you need to sort of progress. So I'm not going to go into the details in this video, just to say that I've been doing some of that work. Now, there is a terminology that has been used in various kind of practices, and I've got probably a different meaning to it. I've got my Zen Den, and this is where I've got my calm, safe, secure place where I can actually be honest and vulnerable with myself, and I don't have a little I don't have an altar, because some people will have altars and they'll have a few nice positions to sort of center their focus and their attention. For me, I've got nice positions dotted around my living room, and this is my Zen space. I've got an office space where I undertake a lot more of the kind of computer-based and client-based activities, where I am interacting over Zoom, and I've got the kind of headphones and microphone and everything in that space. And someone, I'm just gonna, Tracy uses this phrase squirrel every time she gets distracted, so maybe I'm going to start taking that little phrase. So someone provided some really good feedback. They thought that the volume isn't particularly good on these videos. Now, unfortunately, at this moment in time, I'm just using my iPhone, so I've got my volume at max. I'm not doing any editing, so I can't increase or adjust that volume. I've closed the doors within the living room to try and create a more kind of buffered sound. So hopefully this is coming across well. I'm in the process of researching to figure out what is the most compatible microphone that is going to be small and easy to use, because technology is probably not my strong point, and about being able to sort of integrate it. But I don't want to sort of invest money now and then in a few months time I'm having to invest again. So I'm taking a bit of time to do some research. So hopefully the volume will adjust in due course. For the time being, you probably need to just max it up to full volume. If you've got it on the TV or the iPad or on your phone, just blast it as loud as possible. And I'm trying to project my voice a little bit louder, so then that sort of comes across well. If you're noticing any kind of, if it's getting too loud or it's too annoying, me sort of projecting my voice, let me know in the comments below. So going back to my Zen zone, this is about me having this space where I actually, because there's a lot of natural light coming into this room, I've actually got a comfy seat where I can actually sit and read the books that I'm reading currently, and then taking some time to be able to jot down, take some notes, highlight passages within the book, sometimes even write in the book, where I'm actually getting some breakthroughs and some insight. And doing that inner child codependency work has brought a fair bit of stuff to the surface, because this is where, as adults, logic, rational beings who have got life experience, tools and techniques that we've used in the past, we can rationalize things, we can make excuses, make up stories, justify certain kind of patterns, behaviors and actions that we may have taken or other people may have taken, and that's all fine. However, we need to give that inner child the voice that it needs so it can be heard, and by being heard it can become that kind of whole awareness, articulation and acknowledgement and acceptance of the feelings, to take away the power of them, and then we can actually challenge them and reframe them. But this kind of fundamental premise of doing that inner kind of work is bringing a lot more stuff to the surface, which just proves that this was the right kind of avenue for me to go in to self-develop and coach and self-coach myself. And my kind of daily routine is progressing really, really well. This week, so last week it was about just taking the time, giving myself the 2 pages a day action, and I found that I was doing much more, because once you get started then you get into the rhythm and then you self-motivate yourself. So that is something really useful and something that I'm going to incorporate this week as well. And I'm not giving myself strict time frames for completing the books. The aim is to complete them within the 6 weeks. If it happens sooner, fantastic. If it needs to go longer because there is inner work that needs to happen, then that's fine as well. So it's about just being kind and compassionate and listening to what we actually need on a daily basis. Something else that I'm going to sort of tackle this week is starting to look at my wheel of life. So I've got through Mindstore and then through Mind Valley, there's a couple of different takes on the kind of wheel of life. And I did this kind of capturing 5 months ago, 5.5 months ago, so it was in March, and I want to revisit that to sort of see the progress that I've made in the areas, and then just sort of like realign my focus. Is there different areas where I feel now that I need to put more focus on? Because this is where this whole kind of premise of where focus goes, energy flows. So if we focus on things that are going to enhance our life experience, motivate us, make us feel good about ourselves, then that's fantastic. But where we're in that kind of negative spiral, we want to try and get away from that. And this is where that kind of looping ladder of thoughts comes in really, really handy. So my focus last week had been a little bit more on the stats for the kind of YouTube channel, because now I've got a month's worth of data, so I'm starting to get some statistics coming through. That kind of negative, doubting, imposter syndrome kind of voice was coming through a little bit. Oh, the channel isn't maybe growing as fast, so maybe the people reaching out and saying that there's things that can be improved and changed is something that I really need to take up on. And then I'm coming back to my why, and it's all about the 2mm progress. I don't need to get there. I've got a year to get all the watch hours and all the viewers that I need to get to become monetized at some point. So I've got the time frame to actually achieve that. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. So it's about being kind, compassionate, and give myself space and time to not get everything sorted on day one. So the volume and the sound will get fixed in due course. Me planning and organizing these videos and scheduling them in, that is now part of the kind of not daily routine, the weekly routine now. So that's really useful. But I want to look at that wheel of life to sort of see, is there anything else that now, in light of having this YouTube channel, that I want to sort of like look in a wee bit more detail, in addition to everything else that I'm already sort of like looking below the surface. But at the same time, it's about having fun and making the whole experience sustainable and enjoyable in the process, because this is where the kind of big reframe that I've had in the past few years has been, we don't have to do stuff, we get to do stuff. It's the opportunity and the challenge that we choose to rise up to. So this is where it's about finding things that are going to be enjoyable and fun in order for us to be able to motivate us to take the action, and the more fun that we're having, the more sustainable they are, then the more we want to do them. And that's where you go into that kind of positive spiral of activity and practice that you're actually doing. So this is where this week I also have some chores that I need to do in the flat. And for those of you that know me personally, you know cleaning and tidying up and doing all those kind of chores is not on my kind of high priority list, but I'm starting to notice that the Hoover needs to come out, the duster needs to come out. So I'm wanting to make it as a fun activity. So as a result of doing my Zumba classes, there's some more kind of Latin inspired music that we've been listening to. So what I'm going to do is find on Spotify some tracks to be able to sort of like just time box it. I'm not planning on doing a lot of stuff, so just like 15 minutes, 30 minutes max, 3 times this week, and I'm going to get all the chores done and make it a fun, enjoyable activity. So what are you planning on doing this week that's going to bring a bit of fun and enjoyment and lightness to your life? What lessons did you learn from last week? What are the goals that you're trying to achieve this week? If you want to share, please feel free to do so in the comments below, and enjoy the rest of the week. So go out and seize the day. Have the most amazing day and week ahead. And remember, there's always choices in life, so choose wisely. Until the next one, bye.